I wanted to play a clip from FBI Director Kash Patel. He had something interesting to say about Israel.
We will shut off the machinery that feeds money into Iran. We will no longer have 100 hostages still in captivity, Israeli and American and otherwise, by Hamas and Iran's head.
I mean, obviously, they could have gotten those hostages out easily, but as everyone knows, Netanyahu does not want to do that. And so Israel has killed its own.
Hezbollah mercenary forces. We need America to wake up and prioritize Israel and bring home Israelis and make sure we stand by our number one ally in Israel.
We need America to wake up and prioritize Israel.
We haven't been doing it enough.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
This is shameful behavior for our greatest ally ever, who's also a massive collection threat. If you go through any sort of OPSEC, course in the military intelligence service, like when I got my top secret, you had to go through an adversarial collection tech. And number one, hey, guess what number one was? It wasn't China. It wasn't Russia. It definitely wasn't Iran. It was Israel. So
sorry, what does that mean, that term? I don't know what that means.
A collection threat. So basically, if you ever work with Israelis or in proximity with Israelis, you have to be on like red alert because they will try to adversarially collect intelligence from you. And also any guys like a couple of my squad leaders went on to Delta Force and they trained with like Israeli special forces and stuff. And it was then special standard operating procedure to actually put extra security measures on your ready room where all your gear was, because they will literally steal your shit.
Wow. Yeah. And why is that?
It was promised to them.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think there's going to be a backlash from MAGA people who claim to be America firsters?
Well, there's a big part of MAGA that are Christian evangelical Zionists that will always toe the line. But however, the conservative right is not a monolith. There are a lot of people like in militias. I talked to a number of like armed constitutionalist groups in Texas. They're very much not like pro-Israel, and they're actually more America first. Some of them are anti-Israel for more problematic reasons. But the libertarians, and of course, we're yet to see what the political fallout from not releasing the Epstein files would be within MAGA circles.
Yeah. Let's talk about that more. So update us on where we are with the Epstein files.
Well, everyone's in a tailspin, but in the end, I think it's very clear that whether or not Trump is in the Epstein files, the performative effect is the same. Whether or not they exist as a Mossad operation to entrap U.S. officials, they never intended on releasing them in the first place. The performative effect is the same. They were never about justice or transparency. They were a lure for the drain the swamp conservatives, like an intentionally crafted psyop born out of multiple movements, including QAnon, to radicalize a disillusioned, overly online generation and nudge them towards MAGA as the only faction fighting the child trafficking Democratic and Hollywood elite. And it worked. And now, his own DOJ quietly admits no Epstein client list, no blackmail operation, no murder, case closed, to get folks. And what was all the outrage for? Really, it was to get folks to vote Republican, feel like they were fighting the system composed of like these ancient CIA, FBI crypt keepers who had been in since the Bay of Pigs, and like the establishment Dems, who were the child traffickers, and the Hollywood glitterati, who were pushing woke culture on everybody through Hollywood. But in the end, it's very clear. It was an information operation that mobilized weaponized disgust, redirected that rage, and marketed a rebellious mentality with an electoral purpose. And now that it's done, I guess they'll move on to something else, Iranian sleeper cells, or now that the mask's completely off, we're just going to have a completely militarized police state. So shut up. But I think that the psychological operation behind it was never going to work. And this kind of brings in other factors to the entire MAGA platform when it comes to anti-abortion legislation, anti-trans legislation, anti-drag queens reading to kids, because it's all about protecting the children, right? You can't have got to protect the children. Can't have trans people doing trans stuff because it's like gender mutilation, and drag queens reading to kids, like preaching lasciviousness or whatever. Like that calls all that hypocrisy into the question. Wow. Now, so I think like over the next week or so, we're going to see like a massive identity crisis as well. And people are definitely going to jump ship. Who knows how many? I think we both exist on the right-wing cesspit that is Twitter. So we kind of have like a hard sense of like where people are at right now, like on the individual level, because you'll have like libs of TikTok eventually like squaring whatever dissonance is in order to toe the propaganda line for the administration. Right. So we'll just have to wait and see on that.
What do you think that there's any relationship or any connection between the fact that basically, Elon Musk is starting this political party? Elon Musk has also previously publicly stated, right, that he has that Trump is on that list, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you think there's any connection there?
But I think him starting his own political party is more about him, feeling like Doge wasn't respected,
right?
And he's also iced out, and he kind of had a good time, being K'd out with a chainsaw at like, political conventions. And he wants to be loved and adored, and he wants to be politically relevant, which is why he meddles in politics throughout the globe, goes on to praise the German AfD party, gets some calls for, revolution in Bolivia so he can access to lithium. It's just, one of his stunts. Maybe it'll work out. It'll probably just end up crashing Tesla stock more. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of erratic, and he sometimes pulls back on what he's saying he was going to do. But America First Party, if you're going to divide MAGA, you could definitely could do worse. So again, I have to wait and see on that.
Right. And yeah, I was just thinking about that. And I guess to me, I'd be curious if you thought there was any correlation there. Not
Brad, thanks for your mic. Your mic sounds great. Sorry, keep going. Inside joke. Yeah.
If there's any correlations simply because of the time frame, like literally when Musk comes out announcing his ridiculous party, and then like in the same 24 hours, them coming out saying there's no client list, I'm just like purely speculating, but since he had like publicly stated, yeah, he's on Epstein's client list, like maybe they're paranoid that he has some like dirt that he could put out there.
Yeah, he did delete the tweet and retract the statement saying he had gone too far.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like, I think the things are moving so fast right now in terms of like an information cycle that no one can really keep up with it. I certainly can't. And the White House press team absolutely cannot. So yeah, it's anyone's guess. We're all just trying to tread water and keep up at this point.
Totally.
Yeah. What else do you think the significance, by the way, of the Epstein files are, besides like what it shows about the way that Trump is playing MAGA? What is the relevance of the Epstein files? What does it reveal about kind of our political system?
Well, that they all run in the same. Okay, like let's just, for argument's sake, say they exist and that people are on them. It's probably going to be celebrities and royalty and political leaders and political figures, because that's who he hung out with, and the donor class, like DNC elites, RNC elites, stuff like that. I mean, if they came out, one of the most damaging things that it could do would be to show that, oh, these people run into the same social circles. They marry each other. They go to the same parties and the same social club. They go to the same island, and that would kind of break the illusion of the two-party system and would throw our entire political system into turmoil, existential turmoil.
Yeah, pretty damning thing.